and welcome to another episode of The Friendly Fire Show and another episode of Behind the Friendly Fire Show, where, just as a refresher, we cover all the teams, places, and things that we went to before we started the Friendly Fire Show YouTube channel, because we used to just be known by our parent company name, Rock City Multimedia, and we just took photos and wrote articles on our website about all these amazing places of entertainment that we went. And this is Before the Friendly Fire Show Minor League Baseball Edition Part 2. And the reason there's a Part 2 is because I thought I got to everyone in Part 1, but somehow, unless I'm missing it, I don't think I mentioned them, but somehow I missed the Buffalo Bisons, which was the very last team we went to in that huge 2019 road trip, and somehow I forgot them. And it was written on my list, but as you saw with how I kind of messed up the name of the Indianapolis Indians, apparently I wasn't reading it very clear. But also, that's okay, because not only am I going to mention the Buffalo Bison, but also I have another little story and more pictures to show from that Harrisburg Senators trip. If you could tell by my cap, the Harrisburg Mayflies. And so I'm going to kind of double those up, and those are really going to be the only two teams in this video. So let's get started. And first off, I do want to promote again our behind-the-scenes 4-part docu-series coming out in September, which will talk all about the origination of Rock City and the Friendly Fire Show, and go behind the scenes of all of our 2023 episodes, both winter and summer. But anyway, so the team I forgot, the Buffalo Bison, and now I'm going to have a little more pictures of their stadium, so on and so forth, and I'm just going to put them here instead of making it its own slide and narrating over it, because it's going to look the same and it's just easier for me when editing this. But anyway, we're going to show a couple more pictures than normal here, because now they're just about the only team we're talking about. But yeah, so the Bison were the very last team we went and visited during that huge 2019 road trip. A super cool stadium. I kind of miss, it used to be called Coca-Cola Park, or Stadium, or something to that effect, and it was called Salin Field, if that's how you pronounce it, when we went. I just remember growing up and driving through New York, I think to like our friends' or family's cabin or something, and we would always drive by Coca-Cola Park. And so when I finally got to go on this road trip, I'm like, we have to go there. But then I realized it wasn't called Coca-Cola Park anymore. But that's okay. It was still amazing to visit, and I got some pictures of Scott charging his camera on a random extension cord we found hanging over a wall at the stadium. For all we know, he could have been straight up connected to the Bluetooth in the stadium. It was only charging a camera battery though, so I don't think we could have messed up too much, but don't do that. Don't ask why we did that, just yeah, as we get through some more pictures here, it was a beautiful sunset, a really big stadium. I guess maybe nowadays, or always has been, I guess, kind of equivalent to the Altoona Curve, or maybe the Curve are actually bigger, I'm not sure, but just looking at it, and I went here before I went to the Curve Stadium, this just seemed like a huge monster stadium for minor league baseball. And then later down the road, of course, you know, post-COVID, the Blue Jays played there a little bit. I almost went to one of those games against the Texas Rangers. Sadly, I didn't. But, and with that, it was also Buffalo Sabres night, or like Buffalo Hockey night, I think they may have called it, at the Bison's game. So that was awesome to see. Sabretooth, I believe is his name, their mascot. I could be completely wrong on that. And then with that, the second part of the video, like I was talking about, is the Harrisburg Senators. And now you already heard the little bit of the story, kind of the punchline of the story, in the last Before the Friendly Fire Show video. But basically the story is how there was a fire drill during that game, and people were being escorted out and back in, and so on and so forth. If it's not a real thing, I want you to picture the staircase, then we can go. Okay? You want me to go over there? Yeah. while that was happening, or kind of during that, and I think it was a public area because there was like a kids zone towards one end of it, but we kind of walked through this bottom half of the stadium that I feel like at least part of it isn't always open to the public, or if it is, it's like blocked off in a way. But basically, along with that fire drill, we got to see the first part. Kind of seems uninteresting, but we thought it was interesting. The players' ramp, so it was where all the buses were parked, where the players would walk. They had places like put their stuff, walk to the clubhouse, and we actually got to also see the Harrisburg Senators clubhouse. And then down there was also some cool signage. Well, I shouldn't say cool. There was a big flood there because the Senators play on City Island, so there was a big flood there in 2011, and there was a sign to like where the floodwater went to, and it was almost 6 feet high. Like Scott, who you see in these pictures up here, wherever they may be, is exactly 6 foot. Maybe he was 5'9" back then. This was years ago. I don't know, but I think he's always been 6 foot for as long as I've known him, just about. And you can see it's like almost to his eyes, or I know it was like above his neck at least. So that was a like interesting kind of factoid thrown in there. Cool little signage seen there. And I think that is about it for this episode. Thank you to every single minor league team who has ever hosted us, will host us, and thank you to all of you for watching this. Check back for more videos soon, and make sure you catch that 4-part docu-series coming in September.